All right, well, Kusu family, what's going on? It's Shindugu, Shaka Jajaga Shakur, aka M. Costa the Bush Doctor. Black at you with another episode of African Talk, where Africans talk worldwide. And as always, I hope you're good. I hope your family is good. And I pray to the Creator and the ancestors that my words are guided in the right and not the wrong. So let's get at a whole nother episode. Okay. I'm black with you one more time. Yo, oh man. First of all, I've been away for a while. I was gone for a minute because I had to go home and do some serious construction on my house, right? So I don't know if I put up videos, but I just recently, and I pat myself on the back, I just recently laid down my first water line. I tapped into the main water line and I ran a line all the way down to my house and put up like an outside faucet, or as they call it, a spigot. But yeah, big ups. You know what I'm saying? I graduated from YouTube University. I figured it out and I did it. So I'm like a step up on this whole journey of self-determination and self-reliance. And I'm learning a lot, man. It's real. It's a real journey, right? All right. So today's show revolves around the issue of self-colonization, which to me is more dangerous than colonization. Franz Fanon, in his book Wretched of the Earth, he talks about how the colonized will eventually internalize their colonization to the point that they will begin to teach it to others, defend it, and really push it harder than the colonizer. And that's what we see going on right now. You know, every year about this time, we go through this colonization recharge. That's what I call it. And I made a video today about that. You know, we go through this period of recharge and a reconnection, right? Around this whole Thanksgiving, Christmas, you know, and this goes all the way to Easter. 4th of July, but really those three, that Thanksgiving, Christmas, and that Easter. You know, we get all into it. Easter is the recharge for the religion. And then this is the whole recharging of religion and just white European values. You know what I mean? So with the Thanksgiving thing though, it's crazy this year of all years because they just got through playing in your face. They just got through playing in your face, black family. You know, they snatched that little snap thing away and made fun of you, you know, while you were suffering. You know, they mimicked you, talked about you, and just really played in your face. And here we are. Now that this is, I guess you got your snap, right? The government's running again. They're not sure if it's going to keep going, but right now you got something. And I hear people already talking, I'm going to give me a turkey, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And like, why are we celebrating that? Why do we keep giving life to lies? I mean, come on, family. Like, bunnies don't lay eggs, right? No fat white man is coming down to shoot in your house. It's not going to happen. That's burglary. That's breaking an entry. It's not. Reindeers don't fly. Snowmen don't talk. You know, why do we keep selling this lie? Now, this whole thing, you know, and I'm jumping topic, so please follow me. This whole thing with this indigenous movement, right? I'm not African, I'm an indigenous, or they had a whole name for it. Anyway, with that being the case, then that means during Thanksgiving, we, or those of us who say they are not African, have nothing to do with that, should be the most avid about protesting and boycotting this whole November, this whole Thanksgiving thing coming up next week. You know what I mean? Like, I don't support that. I don't support it at all. You shouldn't either. You say you're the first one here, so why are you supporting it? You know, we have documented history that proves that these Europeans slaughtered the indigenous people, slaughtered them, cannibalized them. Right there in the book, it talks about cannibalization. You know, give me that book. Give me that book now. It talks about it in here. The cannibalizing of black people and, you know, indigenous people too. You know, so my thing is, we have documentation that proves it. So why are you bigging that up? And then, well, you know, Shaka, it's not the same. You know, for black people, we know what they did, but then we take it and we flipped it and turned it into a time of getting together and loving each other. You know, we have nothing to do with that. Okay, then, so if you ain't got nothing to do with it, like you don't smoke crack, right? You don't take drugs. You don't drink alcohol. So why would you be in a bar? Well, you don't drink, so why are you at the bar? Right? You don't use drugs. Why are you at the drug house, the trap house? Why are you there? You have no business there because you just said you don't have nothing to do with it. So if if you know that the essence of this holiday is wicked, then why would you even participate in it? There are books by people like the brother Barashengo, may he rest in peace, a whole book on European, menticide, the menticide of our people. We have documentation upon documentation upon documentation. But the reality is, you like your oppressor. You love your oppressor. You're afraid to leave your oppressor. Yes, you are. You are. You are. It's the truth. Well, then, what we know, I'm saying that's the only thing. Now, okay, so I tell you what. I ain't want to take something and not give it back, give something in return. So I'm taking your Thanksgiving, but I'm giving you the Jiname celebration on the day after their Thanksgiving, that Friday. That Friday, get your family together. It could be Friday. Some people do it on the weekend. We get together small and do something big on Saturday. A lot of you be like, well, that's the only time we got off. No, most people are off Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You know what I mean? So take that Friday and get together. Hell, make your food on Thursday and celebrate with your family on Friday. You're not celebrating Thanksgiving. You're celebrating Jiname. Gyename. Jiname. It's celebrating the omnipotence of God, the importance of God, and then in turn, also the importance of heritage, our family, your ancestors, etc. You pour libations. It's a whole ceremony, and it was given to us by the late great Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. There's a whole thing, and when I do the edit, I'm going to list on the edit. I'm going to put down, the history of it. So at the end of the video, or maybe somewhere in this edit, you'll see it pop up. Pow. And when it pops up somewhere down or at the end, I need you to stop and read it. And do it with your family this year. Start to break the mental chains. Start breaking the shackles. Instead of putting fitter designer shackles on your children, break the shackles, man. Break them. Because we're doing ourselves a disservice otherwise. And a lot of you out here, and yes, I'm talking to those who are technically still unawake, still, just asleep. But I'm really talking to those who say you conscious, because you be out there too. I'm a vegan. I don't eat none of the food, but I go to this because I ain't seen my peoples. So I go to I go there. You still celebrating. You still celebrating. Don't go to any function. Don't get no plates. Don't nobody bring you home no plate. Fast the whole day. Don't eat that day. Eat the next day. Straight up. Don't go to Auntie so-and-so house so you can get a plate. Eat the next day. If they want to send you a plate on Friday. Don't send me no plate on Thursday. I'm not eating. What you should be doing is teaching in the history of the slaughter of indigenous peoples. The history of the transatlantic slave trade. Whether you like it or not, it existed. I'm not going to play with y'all with this. Shut up. It existed. And you should be teaching about that. You should be teaching, and if your ass is too, whatever up here to grasp the idea of a lineage that goes beyond here, then okay, I tell you what, you should be teaching about the atrocities committed on your people right here. On people that look like us. Whatever you call yourself, you look like me. So you should be talking about the tragedies that took place and the atrocities right here. Teaching on Thursday. On that Thursday, don't get up watching Macy's Day Parade. Like I said in my earlier video on TikTok, don't be doing all them little TV shows. We ain't doing none of that. If you put anything on TV, it's going to be educating about who the enemy is. And for you younger people, you should get out there in the streets and protest. There'll be a lot of people out there protesting against Christopher Columbus and that whole ideology, protesting against that day. You know what I mean? Join with the indigenous peoples. Even though, we the original indigenous, they the $5 Indians. Shut up. Go out there and team up with them. And that's, this thing is really pissing me off because we are re-indoctrinating ourselves and we're letting these clowns drive us in that direction. You see that flag back there? I rep it. I like what it stands for, excuse me. The two elders that made that so African Americans could have an identity, not to separate us from Africa, not to fight and bash our own, but to stand up and stand out right here where we've put so much work in. That's all it is. But a lot of you have twisted it. Now that flag, there's a whole nother flag out. Now this new flag has a black fist in the middle. It's red, white, and blue. There it is right there. It's red, white, and blue. That part right there. There is no red, black, and green talk no more at all. Do you see how you've been co-opted right out of your own struggle? Y'all so twisted and colonized and self-hating that you've allowed them to reinstitute the red, white, and blue back to you. And you got a black fist on it. Come on, y'all. Come on. And now we back celebrating the holidays and everything else. Yo, we have got to shake these shackles off of our minds. We are right now our own worst oppressors. For real. We bang on each other, but we won't bang on the real enemy. Nope. We'll talk all that disrespectful stuff between Africans and Africans America, or Caribbean Africans, or this African. We got all this beef. I ain't African at all, whatever. You got all the smoke for each other with that. But you got no smoke for ICE. You got no smoke for these corrupt, deviant, mental deviants who are up there in the so-called government. You got no smoke for them at all. But you can go hard against other people. So check this out. Whatever you call yourself, what's next? Okay, what do you get next out of it? What comes next? Is that going to, you're going to get some land or something? You're going to build? You're going to build for other people? What are you going to do? Or just sit there and talk about what you not? What you not, you still celebrating Christmas. That's what you is. What you not, but you still celebrating Thanksgiving. Come on, man. We have got to do better, goddammit. Leave these religions alone. Leave the colonization alone. I had a good friend tell me that they were going during the Sabbath, because they wished me a happy Sabbath. Now, this person, who I love dearly, very good person, this person was indoctrinated from birth in this particular religion and broke away from it. Now, this person is slowly sliding back. The Sabbath. There is no Sabbath. That's all part of the Abrahamic religions. You can't pick and choose pieces of it. Character, maybe. There are characteristics or character ethics. That's the word. There are ethics that you could use, But practicing the religion, the dogma, for what? So this person said they have an Egyptian Bible. I said, Egyptian Bible? What the hell is an Egyptian Bible? That's the Bible with all the lost books that were not in the King James Version. Oh, so you don't want that drug, you want that drug. It's still a drug. I read the book of Enoch. I read all those different books just to have knowledge of them. Okay. And I'm not going to sit down and have a debate about religious history. It doesn't exist. There is no Jesus. There is no Jesus. None. That didn't exist. It's a story. It's a story to remind you to love your brothers. None of that stuff existed. Well, there's evidence that a great flood did exist. There was floods all over the place. Yes, but the story of Moses, that it's not real. I saw a video today. It was a young brother, and I'm going to make a separate video on this. A young little kid. This little kid was, high. And so the lady, first, there was a lot of women in this video. I ain't said so like one man, a whole lot of women, right? And I ain't got nothing against women, but I'm just saying there's a whole lot of women in there. And so this little brother, it's like 4 or 5 little kids. So they get a mic to the little dude, and the lady is like, "Tell us what you're happy for. What are you glad for? What are you thanking God for? And don't talk about no toys and no games and no sneakers. You tell us what really, what you really thankful for." So they gave the little brother the mic, and the little brother was like, "I'm thankful for my stepmom." Nah, I can't say that here. And they was like, no, say it. What you got to say. Say what you got to say. And they put the little kid on the spot. And then the little brother said, "Well, I'm thankful for my stepmom because she listens to me more than my mom." Oh my God, in the name of Jesus, in the name of Jesus, you are sinning. We're not going to let that devil come up in here and try to cause no harm. We're going to put hands on this little brother and we're going to open the door so we can chase out the devil, run the devil out of here, open the door. Oh Lord, in the name of Jesus. And then they started gathering around the little kid. They're using this false religion to stifle this little child who is expressing his truth. I don't care if mama don't like it. I don't care if daddy don't like it. That's that little man's truth. And instead of shaming him, she should be listening to him. What am I not doing for my child? Instead, don't worry, mother, because you're doing more than the father. You're doing the best you can in the name of Jesus. And put hands on it. And all this. Got this little kid, y'all hovering around, traumatizing this child and all the children. Now the other little children, they ain't speaking up. Fuck, hell with that. I ain't saying, look what they hear. I ain't doing nothing. Now you done scared them and you done crushed their natural truth, their innocence, their ability to tell the truth. You have just colonized those children. I'm gonna make a whole video about it because I downloaded the video. It's crazy. And this is what we do. We indoctrinate ourselves. We've allowed the red, white, and blue, the sign, the symbols of colonial, Western, European imperialism. And we have now indoctrinated a whole generation of our kids to think that that has something to do with the black fist. That is so, that's crazy. You know how many people have lost their lives to put that black fist in the air for black power? That's what that fist is for, black power. And now you done attached it to the very three colors that have jailed, exiled, and murdered so many of our freedom fighters in the name of black power, in the name of that fist. And you put it on a red, white, and blue flag, and you call it FBA? Like, come on, man. I don't really give a damn about that argument until I saw that. Now I'm like, come on, man. No, enough is enough. You done phased out. These agents have cooked up this scheme. They've been handled, and they've cooked up this remedy to push red, black, and green right off the lips of our children. That red and black that you see in that flag back there, where you think it comes from? That same red and black, actually, you can go to Haiti and you'll see a red and black flag. That was the original flag during the revolution, the Haitian Revolution. You'll see that red and black in Africa and different places. Hell, you'll see that same red and black combination over in China when they fought the Boxer Rebellion. That is part of a symbol. Only thing in there is green. And I guess that's to keep it away from, an already identified version. I guess, I don't know. The flag above it is an Ethiopian flag with red, gold, and green. Red, black, and green, red, gold, and green. Where the hell you get red, white, and blue? I digress. But this is also the traumatizing part of the whole self-colonialization or colonization, of our own minds. The white man can step aside now. We're doing it better than him. And we fall for it every single time, but not this time. This time, this can't fly, man. We don't need your religions, Mr. European man. Hey, Mr. Arab man, we don't need your religion either. For real. We don't need none of the Abrahamic religions. None of that. People say, well, you can take it back to Africa, and you will find out that there was stuff there before the colonizers came with all of that. Those religions came into our midst. Catholicism didn't start in Ethiopia. It was brought to Ethiopia under the Kandeka. It was brought there. She was dealing with Romans who were Christian, the Kandeka queen. And she brought that there. and instituted. And in other parts of Africa where you see Islam, it came in through, colonization. Not always the sword, and either one of them. Even Christianity wasn't always the sword. Some people, some African leaders, like Queen Nzinga, converted to Catholicism or converted to Islam as strategic moves to strengthen their kingdoms. But either way, it didn't start there. That's my point. Now, I know our journey here, the church is very close to our journey. But it's not close because we're religious. It's close because that's the only place that we could gather and organize without being slaughtered. What, you tell me what people in history share the ideological, the cultural, the spiritual systems of their oppressors. Unless there's a civil war. But what group does that? What group of oppressed people hold on to the culture of the oppressor while shunning their own culture? I'll tell you what people do it. A very sick people, a very damaged people, a very colonized people, a people who have internalized self-hate, a people who have internalized that their oppressors are greater than they are. I don't want no black Jesus. I don't want no white Jesus. I don't want no Jesus. Period. I don't want no black Muhammad. I don't want no Muhammad. Period. No Muhammad at all. And I came up to all of that. But all of that, no, 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 no. What about Elijah Muhammad? I like him. I like what he did for black people. He did what he had to do. But that too. I'm keeping it real. None of that got nothing to do with us. They were used, like there were people who used Christianity to fight against slavery. There were people who used the Christian doctrine to build movements for our people. There were people who used the Christian doctrine to get our people out of drugs and alcohol. That's what's up. You used it. Now you can give it. We good now. Now we good. It was served a purpose. At some point, it served a purpose, but it's over. Like I love Sundiata and the stories of all the kings in Africa, Mansa Musa and all of them. But the reality is, family, those people, they were African. Yes, they were our people, but they were Muslim. And they spread that religion through war. A lot of them through war. Against their own. I know I'm trotting on hot water right now, but I don't care. It's time for a liberation. It is time to get free. Right? That's what it's time for. Truly, truly free. Where we don't owe nobody nothing except ourselves. And if you don't want to, I ain't African. I fine. Don't be African. Don't be African. Don't do nothing. But give up this white man though, please. It's killing us. Give it up. And they don't want us. They just kicked you off of their systems. Even now, after the whole SNAP thing, now there's a list of jobs that are no longer considered professional. Nursing and all these other physical therapy. It's a whole list. And I looked at the list and I was like, wow. People are saying, well, all those lists are basically for women, jobs. No, a lot of those jobs and professions and skill sets are dominated by people of color. And if you're not professional, you don't have a job. You're a therapist, any kind of therapist. It's not a profession, they said. Those degrees don't count. And that's what the Republican Party said. That's what these white nationalists say. So you're going to be out. Who's going to think it affected us? I got a couple of things I want to say to y'all right quick, right? You know me, I be making up these acronyms to lock thoughts in my head, right? And I always am on a mission to reinvent words to fit our agenda, like they do. Well, let's start with struggle. STRUGGLE, right? Start to release untapped, God-guided levels of energy. That's what struggle means. And when you start to release untapped, God-guided levels of energy, you'll free yourself. FREE. Finally reaching evolutionary existence. Evolutionary existence. Exactly. So when you struggle, you get free. And this process, how can you strive to release untapped God-guided levels of energy in you and you still believe in your oppressor? Because he's telling you there's nothing. You don't have anything. You are nothing. We did it all for you. So how you gonna get free from that? But you still running around, putting up Christmas trees and shit. Going out looking at Christmas lights. Look at this. I got lights right here. I'm going. Look at no goddamn Christmas light. What? Y'all gonna be out there drinking Yule tides and just I know you are. I know you are. You're gonna use your babies at home. I'm just doing it for the babies. You're gonna use your family. Well, that's for the family, man. Mm-mm, mm-mm. We're not doing it. We're not trying to hear that. You're not buying for them kids. You're buying for yourself. Them kids is just an excuse for you to stay wrapped around your best friend, the white man. The European indoctrination machine that chews us up and spits us out. The slave grinder is still grinding and is spitting out slaves. We can do better. We have to do better. So I'm going to let it go right here. And if I rambled a little bit, bear with me. I speak from the heart. But we have to fight back, family. And the best way and the only way to begin to fight back is to fight the oppressor in you. Release and get away from them values, man. Throw some of that stuff out in your house. Get rid of some of that material stuff. Free yourself. Finally reach an evolutionary existence. Free. All right? Cool.